non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
But we got a team in here. And this is like a chant. Now every time I beer, we gotta score.
Wait for it. There it is.
Damn right.
4-Question Friday here. Purple Daily, daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die, all right? And losing to the Lions this weekend would not be a step in that direction, so don't let that happen. This show is presented by Surly Brewing Company and our friends at TCL. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL, some of the best TVs you're going to find for watching football. They've got a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Are you guys ready for 4 questions on this Friday? Fourth quarter.
You got to play 4. Don't take it off because it's Friday, boys.
No, let's push
Bear down,
through
Declan.
the weekend here. Let's push through the finish line. Although there is no finish line on Purple Daily because it is a daily show. All we do, we're like
7 days a week, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's
still
not
doing that, right?
There's not an 8th day coming around here to give you a breather.
Nope. Okay.
These aren't walkthroughs. These are practices. We're going every day.
Yep.
Full
We're
pads?
going every day. Full pads.
Full
baby.
pads.
Oh, boy.
Full pads.
Fourth quarter.
I'm a little old for that. Okay.
Here's the first question. So former Steelers like Ryan Clark, for instance, has just been torching his former team on Get Up on ESPN, and he's not the only one. So former Steelers players are blasting Pittsburgh for being sort of a middling 500 team. They're 5-5-1, and for potentially missing the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
If that sounds familiar to the Vikings.
No, I've never
nation
heard
out
it.
there.
I know. I've no idea what you're talking about.
So a middling 500-ish team that has struggled to make the playoffs in 3 of the last 4 years, and people are pissed. Former players are pissed. Fans are pissed. And Mike Tomlin was asked about it. Mike Tomlin said, hey, what? Seems like a lot of people are not too happy that this is the state of the Steelers right now. And Mike Tomlin said, quote, "Those former players understand the standards that we aspire to." He agrees. Now, you could then, there's a whole other case to be made. All right, is Mike Tomlin losing his touch? Is Mike Tomlin not connecting with modern-day football in the way that he was? I personally think that Mike Tomlin just has a dinosaur quarterback that they need to find a replacement for. If you put anyone but Ben Roethlisberger within reason behind center, what would Aaron Rodgers do for that team? Or Russell Wilson, right?
That's why he's winking at Tomlin.
Yeah.
He's winking at him.
Hell, what would Kirk Cousins would be a big upgrade over this version of Ben Roethlisberger. So I guess my question to you is, what are your thoughts on that? Mike Tomlin was kind of asked, hey, people are pissed that you guys, you're not terrible, but you're 500 and you might miss the playoffs 3 out of 4 years. Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah, well, we aspire to, and when he's talking about is we aspire to be in the playoffs all the time and win championships because the Steelers have as many championships as anyone in the NFL with 6.
I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I think that it's part of the culture with a team that's had, I believe, 3 head coaches since 1969. Mike Tomlin, and I've never doubted this, he completely gets it. Like, he knows he doesn't take jobs to be good. He doesn't take jobs to hope. He takes jobs to assert himself and do everything he possibly can to win. There are no excuses. There's a lot of cliches, but that's fine. He's a coach. I think it is absolutely positively a great mentality. And if Mike said that now and I owned the Steelers, I would be thrilled because it's an understanding of what this team franchise aspires to, right? So yeah, I would love to see that here. I would love to see hey, we've won before. We're not going to take being good. Like, oh man, can we get the 7th seed? Think about that. If the mentality with the Vikings was the 7th seed, what are you guys talking about? That's not good. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. And it's something that for the year that I covered Mike in 2006, admired. I mean, that guy knew what he wanted from the day that he got the job. And I think at that time he was like 32. Really impressive.
I think, both the Steelers and Vikings have similarities to a degree. Pittsburgh having the championships and a little bit more of a pedigree than the Vikings certainly do, but they're both very similar franchises in that their fans care a lot about their teams. But I think the Steelers have a little bit kind of more self-awareness about this situation, and kudos to Mike Tomlin for recognizing that. He's but only the third head coach in the last 50 years of Steelers football, and has done a great job. He's honestly one of the best coaches of the last 20 years. But I love that the Steelers have recognized that, hey, this is not working, and we want to be better. And I love that they just admit that instead of Mike Zimmer, who comes out, see, I proved you guys wrong because I beat this team in week 5. Come on.
Look at all these defensive stats that he brought to the table 3 weeks ago. It's like, buddy, I think they were 2 games under 500 when he said, yeah, but look at the defensive stats.
Yeah. You're 6th against the run. I don't care. Seriously, man.
It's kind of interesting. If you look at the last 10 years, the Steelers and the Vikings have actually been very similar. They're both in danger of missing the playoffs in 3 of the last 4 years. They've only been to 1 conference title game apiece over the last 10 years. I think the difference is the Steelers seem to feel really uncomfortable with it, where it's just 500 feels like 3-14 to the Steelers. And I think the Steelers aspire to contend for championships. I think the Vikings are a lot less uncomfortable, and I think they aspire to be a wild card team most years. The Vikings finishing as a competitive team and making the wild card is the expectation for this franchise. And anything beyond that is sort of, ooh, look at this pleasant surprise. Ooh, Case Keenum was better than we thought in 2017, right? Oh, Brett Favre had a little gas in the tank back in 2009. It just kind of feels like, all right, we're in the playoffs. Now let's see what happens. And the Steelers kind of feel like this is way below our level of the 50 years of Steelers football that we have crafted. So I would say that the difference in expectations feels higher for the Steelers than it does for the Vikings. I'm glad that Mike Tomlin said what he said. I hope the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin and the Vikings can hire him because I think he has a lot left to give as an NFL head coach.
Get a quarter.
You like that? You like that?
All right, question number 2. You guys get 1 change and 1 change only to the entire Vikings franchise going into 2022. Otherwise, you run it back with, I know that there's contracts up and stuff, but let's say all the contracts toll. So everyone comes back healthy, and let's say everyone comes back the same age. So it's a hypothetical here. Because you might say, well, I mean, Patrick Peterson, let's just say you get to run everything back in 2022 with 1 change. And if you choose to replace somebody, I need the specific name of their replacement.
Mm-hmm.
What is the 1 change you make going into next year?
Oh, that's a simple one for me. I am replacing Mike Zimmer with Kyle Shanahan because I'm keeping Kirk then.
So he's getting fired from San Francisco, or
yeah, I don't know, but Kirk stays the same age. I'll play along. I'll play along.
All right, I'm replacing Mike with Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
How would you acquire a coach who's under contract?
He either gets fired or I trade for him. I don't know, but in a world where the entire roster stays the same age and comes back, and I want to get a coach that 1 knows offense. That's the most important thing, and I want to get a coach that 2 is a guy that has worked with Kirk and knows Kirk and can at least appeal to what Kirk does well. So that would be my goal if I had to run the entire thing back with 1 change. But an offensive-minded coach who understands, hey, look, you got to embrace Kirk and offense. Defense, I'm not saying it's not important, but it can no longer be at the forefront constantly of the coach's mind.
If I'm going to change 1 thing, I mean, I love the idea of Kellen Moore coming here, but I'm going to actually go with the quarterback. I'm going to change the quarterback. I'm going to get rid of Kirk Cousins, and honestly, I'm going to plug in Kellen Moore. Or Kellen Mond, excuse me. Kellen Mond at
Kellen
quarterback.
Moore is going to be the offensive head coach,
Kellen
OC,
on the mind.
and starting quarterback.
Kellen squared, hang it in the rafters, baby.
So you're running all of this back with
Kellen
Mond instead of Kirk Cousins.
Yep, wow. I'm running all this back. That gives me more resources too. You're not going to pay the $45 million to Kirk. Kellen Mond is going to make chump change. I run it back with a rookie quarterback, baby.
Oh, no.
That's what I wanted.
Oh, here they are.
Bring it.
Uh-oh,
Yep,
it's-
I knew
Here they
it.
come.
It's the hot take cops.
Yep,
The hot take cops are pulling you over.
it's fine.
I mean, you get the cap space, but
Yeah, I'll get the.
we're not allowing you to
license out.
sign anybody else.
And do we know he can even play?
Is it?
I guess my license expires
is
soon.
he even still part of the organization?
I
Do
know
you
nothing about him anymore.
Has anyone seen him?
I run it back
Beckham's
to rookie
right,
quarterback.
though.
What if
Declan,
Kellen Mond is just
I
a
liked where you were
badass?
going until you said Kellen Mond.
I'm running it back.
your-
With,
I thought-
no, I'm
I'm
running it
like,
back with the
okay,
rookie
yeah, cool.
quarterback. I'm running it back with the rookie quarterback. What's the other expectation? 8 and 9, 9 and 8, and then
No,
all right. So if
dude.
Kellen Mond stinks,
What do you? No, you had it. You had it right. I'm gonna mold your take here. All right. This is like what was that show where they brought in like clunker cars with Exhibit, right? It was like pimp my ride, right?
Great show.
I'm gonna pimp your take here. Okay.
Great show.
So you had it right when you said quarterback. You get one change. I'm trading 3 first-round picks to the Seattle Seahawks when Russell Wilson once again asks out for the second consecutive offseason. I think he's going to do it again. And I think he's going to play hardball. And I think the Seahawks are going to be like, all right, whatever. He's in his mid-30s. Let's just reset the whole thing. I'm trading 3 first-round picks for a Hall of Fame quarterback. Mike Zimmer has never had a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. So get him one. Let him... Daniil Hunter will be back next year. That's part of this. Like all these guys come back healthy.
For how long?
And run it back with an actual badass, like top 4, top 5 guy. Sorry, Cousins Crusaders. I know that Cousins puts up Hall of Fame numbers. He's not an actual Hall of Famer. Russell Wilson is. So that's what I do. Or Kellen Mond.
Stop with the Kellen Mond. Stop with the Kellen
Kellen
Mond.
Mond.
Just stop.
I need to
Stop
see.
with that.
He's
Russ
in
is
witness
fine.
protection, dude. Like you can't
I'm
even get
fine.
active on
Yeah,
game
you have no
day.
idea. He might win like 3 games.
You like that?
it's fine.
You like
Very
that?
concerned.
I draft pick.
Question number 3 is presented by our friends at Livia, where Judd Zolgad is just shedding the pounds these days.
Boys, I got breaking news. I broke it last night, but I will break it again right here on Purple Daily. The breaking news is this. I went to and weighed in with my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers on Thursday, down another 2.5 pounds. Thanksgiving week, I lost weight. I am now down 28.3 pounds.
0.3. Well, they have that
20
precise.
Oh,
of
they
scales,
measure.
Olivia?
They've got a monthly thing. I'm not joking. They like can see my body fat, which is standard, my weight, how much each arm weighs, how much
What?
each leg.
Which
Yes.
arm's heavier?
The
don't wanna know.
left arm.
Oh God.
The left arm is. No, it's not. Come on, you dirty-minded. Come on, no.
Not a
my
switch
left
hitter, huh?
arm. My left arm. No, my left arm is heavier. Okay, but anyway, it's great stuff.
Gotta use it more.
Okay, stop. I want you just stop. I never intended to go there. Just FYI,
I'm sorry,
people out there, I never intended that. I'm just telling you, it's so thorough. Give yourself the gift of good health. Save 50% off the program today, and your first visit is free. Call today, 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com, LIVEA.com. Again, down almost 30 pounds on my way down to 200. And then the best part, I'm going to stay there. Livia's done right by me. They will do right by you. Lose the weight and tell them Score North and Judd and the folks at Purple Daily told you that you wanted to get healthier. Livia.com.
Also, Federated Mutual Insurance Company would like to wish everyone a safe, happy, healthy holiday season here. And just keep in mind that winter weather and cold temperatures can cause a greater need to pay attention to things that could impact your business. So when it comes to risk management, protecting your bottom line, protecting employees, Federated is here to help with all kinds of trusted resources and people. So check them out at federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours.
You like that? You like that?
All right, question number 3 here. Do you guys ever just feel bad for the Lions?
A little bit. I do feel bad. It stinks that they've gone like one playoff, not even a playoff win in my lifetime. I'm 28. I was born in 92. They got one.
Yeah, 91, I think, was the last playoff
okay.
win.
Yeah. So they haven't even seen a playoff win, and I'm almost 30 years old. So yeah, I feel bad for the Lions. And also they went obviously the winless season. They get Matt Stafford. Stafford turns out to be a decent quarterback. They have a Hall of Fame wide receiver in Calvin Johnson, and they still can't figure it out because they hire buffoons and whatnot. So yeah, I do feel bad for the Lions. I do.
They've only won their division 3 times since 1957. I mean, I do. I feel like at some point, like, how do you not stumble into a coach that fixes it, or a GM that fixes it, or something? Like, it doesn't equate. Like, even the Browns, finally, they were like, okay, we got at least a passable quarterback, and then Kevin Stefanski, and boom, win a playoff game or whatever. I mean, it is. I do. I actually, when they're not playing the Vikings, I generally root for the Lions, because it's just like, people ask, well, you guys do Packer vent line and Bears vent line. Why don't you do Lions vent line? Because it's just not fun.
Yeah.
Like, we're just punching down on this poor franchise and their fans. I don't know. Judd, do you ever feel bad for the Lions?
No, there's an old saying, God helps those who help themselves. And the Lions don't help themselves. They never do.
Oh, my God.
Their problems are as self-induced as you could possibly get. So, no, I don't. I don't even know what a world where Detroit had an extensive streak of being good would look like. So,
yeah,
no.
the best streak, I'm just going back through, like, Football Reference. The last time, okay, I take that back. They've never, they started as a franchise in 1930 as the Portsmouth Spartans, and then they eventually became the Detroit Lions in 1934. They have never, in like 85 years as a franchise, finished back-to-back seasons with 10 or more wins. How is that possible?
But do you, like, I don't feel bad for them, because there's nothing, like, they just always stink. Like the Cubs, before they finally broke through, you felt bad for them because there was this lovable loser quality lots of times, right? Or they got to a big game and something went, much like the Vikings, massively wrong. But the Lions just stink. They just, year after year, they just stink. Like, did I feel bad for Barry Sanders? Yeah, I sort of did. But like the Detroit Lions and their fans, I just don't.
Dude, the two greatest players in franchise history, I think, are Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson.
And both bailed.
And those guys were both so beaten down. They quit when they were 29 years old or whatever. Like, they're in their prime, both of them. Well, Sanders was probably more like on the back end as a running back, and they both were like, I can't do this anymore.
Yep.
I will literally give back millions of dollars in future earnings just so I don't have to play here anymore.
But I don't. Like, I honestly don't feel bad. They're just so bad, and they cause their own problems, and they never get things right.
You are an emotionless
I feel bad for
robot.
people who deserve you to feel bad for them.
Okay.
Or teams, I should say. And people.
The last time they finished first in the division was 1993. They went 10-6 under Wayne Fonts. And Rodney Peete was the starting quarterback.
Played Favre and the Packers in the playoffs, right?
Let's see here. Let's see if your memory serves.
I remember watching a game in my old
Wow, yeah. Look at you, 28-24 victory for the Packers in that playoff game.
New Year's Eve or something.
Old Brett Favre threw 3 touchdown passes.
That wasn't old Brett Favre, my man. That was 23-year-old. He was probably hung over to beat hell.
Sterling Sharp.
Oh, Sterling
Sharp. Hell yeah.
Sterling Sharp. Wow, man, he was good.
All right, it's the question number 4, the would you rather question of the week here. Would you rather have the ability to see 10 minutes into the future or 150 years into the future?
Well, if I had to pick one, I don't really want to do this across the board, but if I just had to pick one, I'm going the short term, because like in 150 years, I'm seeing into a future that I won't be part of. I'm going to be dead, right? So like assuming I would rather know what's going to happen in a 10-minute period, because at least that would benefit me. So like I don't care. 150 years? What am I going to warn? Hey, your grandkids are going to have some problems, Charlie. I don't give a crap.
Charlie. And the Vikings are still going to be looking for a franchise quarterback.
What's the benefit? Besides like, oh, that's going to be cool.
Well, I would think, I guess I would rather see 150 years into the future. Number one, I'm just kind of curious. What does the world look like in 2071 or whatever?
I don't give
but here's what you're missing. Okay, wouldn't you like to go back to 1870, which would have been 150 years ago? Wouldn't you want to know in 1870, hey, so here's all the big inventions and innovations that took place. If you want to, I don't know, like get a head start on one and become a multi-billionaire or something.
To whom,
like
though?
you could.
So like for yourself to start something?
Well, I know that you don't have kids, so you don't care about this either. But like for like generations of future Goffs or Zolgads or Mackies,
I don't know.
You could come in and be like. Also, remember Back to the Future 2, where Biff picked up a sports almanac and became
great gambler,
very wealthy, just knowing the outcomes of sporting events.
That's true. Yep.
So you could build great wealth and great power. You know?
Yeah.
I go 10 minutes in the future. It's easy. It's easy. I'm with Judd that I don't really care about what happens 150 years from now. I'm going to be dead, and if my kids or grandkids, kids, whatnot, are still around, awesome. But I want to know, all right, if I had this third drink, what am I going to act like 10 minutes from now? I'd like to know how much of a buffoon I'm going to act like 15 minutes from now. So that makes a little more sense to me. I want to know the mistake I'm going to make in the short term. What idiot thing is going to come out of my mouth? What dumb thing am I going to do? I want to know the short term way more than the long term.
Okay. All right. I mean, if you go back, think about like how much different the world is now compared to 1870.
Oh my God. And
then how much different it's going to be 150 years from now. It's kind of amazing. You know, we basically like rode horses and like ate, just like ate raccoon meat or something. You know,
I would have
had to kill your own dinner for like thousands of years, and then all of a sudden, 1920 hits and boom, off to the races.
Which I would have loved to have seen that. Like that would have been cool. Roaring 20s. 1870 though, God, I'm glad I didn't have.
Yeah, can you imagine showing like a pioneer back in 1871 your iPhone? Hey, check this out. Yeah, we can just. Are you guys hungry? Let's just pull open the Uber Eats app. We'll just have a horse and a guy in a horse and a carriage will bring us some shepherd's pie. It'll be great.
I'm glad I didn't have to live through that. I'm glad sports was established once I like.
Oh, Judd has dysentery. Better order. Bring up Walgreens on DoorDash.
Like the start of baseball. Like, I mean, come on,
dude. The catchers didn't wear gloves or face masks in the first years of baseball.
Well, hell, and what through the 30s into, I think they would leave their gloves out in the field.
Yeah, super weird.
Yeah, like
who was the first guy to say, let's just bring the gloves into the dugout here?
I think if I could go back and live through a sports era, it might be the 50s, though. The 50s would have been
for baseball or for leather helmet football, or
baseball.
for boxing.
Baseball. Oh yeah,
a little Rocky Marciano.
You know what? That's a good point. Horse racing and boxing were huge. That's a really good point.
But then you'd have to wear a suit and a top hat to all the sporting events, and everyone would just be smoking around.
I think I would have changed that. I think I would have gone cash.
Just sweatpants and a hoodie.
Come on, Edward. Let's go cash today.
Who's this vagabond walking into the
It's actually really funny. I just Googled like historic events in 1871. Mm-hmm. And on March 16th, the first...
The Lions' last playoff win?
Yeah, the last Lions playoff
Bobby
win.
Lane threw 3 touchdown passes.
The National Association of Professional Baseball Players was organized in 1871.
Well, the Players Association goes back that far?
The National Association of Professional Baseball Players organized.
Oh, it was a league. Okay.
And then they went on strike.
Yeah.
And
they immediately went on strike.
And the first fertilizer law was intact. I don't know what that means, but apparently there was laws with fertilizer. I don't know.
I'm sure.
Or is that more of a broad term for fertilized? I have no idea. All right.
Oh. It's a grand old time back in
1871.
We've established the league.
What's
the thing that we should do?
Baseball.
Let's go on strike. No, you're locked out. No, we're on strike. No, you're locked out.
Yeah, the first baseball league game. Fort Wayne versus Cleveland. Fort Wayne 2-0.
Yeah,
Deacon Jim White gets the first hit in a double.
Deacon Jim White, they're rounding first base. Yeah, slides back in safely.
Look at that hustle.
Yeah.
This
back in the
18th action. What can we do for action?
You guys ever look up like Cy Young was like late 1800s, early 1900s? You ever look up that guy's pitching stats? He would throw like 400 innings.
Yeah.
He would throw like back-to-back games of a doubleheader. Yes. Extra innings on the second game.
Complete the game, Cy. You know what you are, a loser.
Oh man! All right, that's a wrap on this 4-question Friday here. Vikings Vent Line right after Vikings Lions finishes up on Sunday. It's the most fan-friendly, interactive show in Minnesota sports, so don't miss it. for Judd, for Dex, for Surly. Oh, Surly. Shout out to them too.
Yes, exactly right. Surly,
Almost rolled the credits there.
furious.
That's my bad.
Don't forget. Vikings win or lose, you can watch it with a Surly Furious, and it'll take the edge off no matter what.
All right, now we'll see you guys
All right.
tomorrow on
Bye.
Purple Daily.
Bye, everybody.
Premature.